Queen is due to have a Zoom birthday with the royal family tomorrow as she celebrates turning 94 in isolation at Windsor Castle with Prince Philip, 98. The Queen is set to mark her 94th birthday tomorrow with a Zoom call with the rest of the royal family. Her Majesty, who is currently in isolation at Windsor Castle with Prince Philip, 98, cannot be visited by loved ones to celebrate the big day amid the coronavirus lockdown. Aides have been planning to set up video calls to mark the celebration instead, allowing the Queen's children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren to wish her a happy birthday. Last year, 16 members of the royal family were able to visit Her Majesty to mark her birthday, but the current restrictions mean video and phone calls will have to be used instead. The Queen has already asked that there be no gun salutes to mark her birthday for the first time during her 68-year reign amid the pandemic. The monarch has also said government buildings will be exempt from flying flags if it creates a problem. Her Majesty said she did not feel gun salutes would be appropriate in the circumstances of the crisis, which has claimed more than 16,000 lives in Britain. Gun salutes, in which blank rounds are fired across the UK, are typically used by the royal family to mark special occasions such as anniversaries and birthdays. The Queen's Birthday Parade, also known as Trooping the Colour, will also not go ahead because of the outbreak. A Buckingham Palace spokesperson did not confirm whether a Zoom call between the Queen and the rest of the family would go ahead, but added that any calls between the family would be private. The royal family has already been active on Zoom during the lockdown, with Prince William and Kate Middleton enjoying conversations with school children and an interview with the BBC. They also revealed how they had been checking on the other royals, including the Queen and Prince Charles, through video calls. Kate said their family had been through ups and downs during the lockdown like lots of families since it was imposed on March 23, but they had stayed in touch with other family members using video conferencing apps. She said the family were getting used to contacting each other in a different way, and trying to avoid dropping the computer halfway through, adding, "It gets a bit hectic, I'm not going to lie. With a 2-year-old you have to take the phone away. It's quite hectic for them all to say the right thing at the right time without pressing the wrong buttons. But it's great and it's nice to keep in touch with everybody." They said Charles, Kate's parents Carol and Michael Middleton and our families have all enjoyed keeping in touch, but added of Louis, "For some reason he sees the red button and he always wants to press the red button." The Duchess also indicated that they might call Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in Los Angeles next month to celebrate Archie's first birthday on May 6. Kate told how the Cambridges are using video apps to share in on birthday calls and things like that to ensure they keep in touch with the rest of the royals. In another Zoom call on April 8, William and Kate chaired a roundtable call in which they thanked mental health workers for supporting those who are struggling. It comes as the prospects of an early end to the crippling coronavirus lockdown receded today as Boris Johnson is understood to be prioritizing staving off a second wave of infections. The Prime Minister has told colleagues his overriding concern is to avoid a second peak in the pandemic that would plunge the country back into turmoil. Mr. Johnson is still recuperating from the disease at Chequers, but conveyed his views during a 2-hour meeting on Friday with Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab, Senior Advisor Dominic Cummings, Communications Director Lee Kane, and Cabinet Secretary Sir Mark Sedwill. Government sources have also been frantically playing down suggestions circulated by senior Tories that schools could be reopened by mid-May, saying early June is more likely. The timetable emerged amid signs of cabinet splits over how quickly to ease the draconian curbs, with fears the economic damage will kill more people than the virus itself. Mr. Johnson seems to be taking a more cautious stance than Chancellor Rishi Sunak and Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove. Queen to host Zoom calls for royal family to wish her happy birthday in lockdown. The Queen is set to host a series of Zoom calls tomorrow for family members to wish her a happy birthday as she celebrates turning 94 in lockdown. The head of the royal family will mark the milestone in a much different setting than she would have anticipated due to the coronavirus pandemic. From Windsor Castle, where she and the Duke of Edinburgh are isolating, the Queen is expected to connect with her children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren online. The monarch has already asked for her traditional birthday gun salute to be cancelled. Tomorrow will be the first birthday she will celebrate in her 68-year reign, which will have no customary salute. A spokesperson for Buckingham Palace declined to say whether a Zoom call would take place, but added that any calls between members of the royal family would remain private. A source told The Telegraph the Queen did not feel it would be appropriate for unusual methods of national celebration to go ahead as normal in the midst of the COVID-19 epidemic. Buildings across the UK can fly the flag in honor of the monarch's birthday. But they have been advised that this is not an expectation. A spokesman for Buckingham Palace said, Her Majesty was keen that no special measures were put in place to allow gun salutes, as she did not feel it appropriate in the current circumstances. On Monday, Prince Philip, 98, broke his retirement silence to issue a special message thanking those fighting coronavirus. In a rare statement on Monday, the Duke thanked medical workers and scientists who have been working hard to protect Britons during the outbreak. He said, As we approach World Immunization Week, I wanted to recognize the vital and urgent work being done by so many to tackle the pandemic, by those in the medical and scientific professions, at universities and research institutions, all united in working to protect us from COVID-19. On behalf of those of us who remain safe and at home, I also wanted to thank all key workers who ensure the infrastructure of our life continues, the staff and volunteers working in food production and distribution, those keeping postal and delivery services going, and those ensuring the rubbish continues to be collected. Philip has made few public appearances since he stepped down from official engagements in August 2017. The Queen's husband is the latest member of the royal family to issue a message to the nation since Britons went into lockdown. Earlier this month, the Queen made an extremely rare address to the nation, only her fifth in her reign, which spans nearly 7 decades. She told Britons to remain positive and that they would overcome the challenge at hand if they stayed resolute, and thanked NHS staff and other key workers. The Prince of Wales has also been outspoken in his support for workers keeping the country's vital services running. The 71-year-old, who has recovered from coronavirus, applauded medical staff and officially opened the NHS Nightingale Hospital in East London via videolink. And in video message on Monday to mark Cardiff's Principality Stadium being turned into a field hospital to help relieve pressure caused by the outbreak, Charles said, Such commitment, of course, has come at a price. As the days have gone by, we have become ever more painfully aware of those in our national health and public services who have made the ultimate sacrifice in caring for others, giving their lives in the service of their fellow men and women. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge held a video call with staff and pupils at a school in Lancashire. The couple applauded the work of staff teaching the children of key workers during the pandemic.